Let's look at how to register a student for final forms in the DRC Insight portal. Test administrators use the registration application to associate students with the final forms that will be submitted for scoring and reporting. Final forms must be in the published status to be available for selection and registration. Students can be registered for pre-built final forms created by OSPI and DRC, final forms created by test administrators in item and form management, or a combination of the two types. Students must be registered for a final form for each of the 5 standards in all content areas assessed at their grade. For example, a grade 3 student must be administered 5 final forms for English Language Arts and 5 for math. Students in grade 8 must be administered 5 final forms for English Language Arts, 5 for math, and 5 for science. Once registrations are created, test administrators use the Student Performance Data application to enter the student's assessment results. In the DRC Insight portal, go to My Applications and select Registration. The registration application opens to the Existing Students tab. Click Select a Site and select your school by searching for your school's name or code in the site search window. Click the Select button next to your school's name. Note, once a site is selected, the button changes to Change Site. Create a unique registration name. Using the student's name and the registration name is recommended. For example, Final for John Smith could indicate the registration contains the final forms John Smith was administered. Click Add Students and search for the student who will be taking the assessment. Test administrators can see only students that are enrolled in their schools. Students eligible to take the WA-AIM must be identified through the Washington Assessment Management System, WAMS, by the District Assessment Coordinator, or DAC. Only students identified in WAMS display in registration. You can filter search results by grade using the Select Grades dropdown, or use the search box to search for a student by name. Click the Add button after you have selected the student. Click Add Forms and select the forms for the assessment in the window that displays. Use the content area, standard, grade, and access point filters to narrow the list of forms that display for selection. Check the boxes in the Select column next to the forms you want to associate with the student. Note, the registration application will prevent users from selecting more than one final form for the same access point. It is recommended that you select all of the forms for all content areas on which the student will be tested to create a single registration for all required final forms. It is possible for test administrators to create multiple registrations for the same student, and even for different test administrators to separately create registrations for the same student. Test administrators will need to coordinate and track completion of assessments related to all registrations. The application prevents a student from being registered for more than one form per access point. Click the Add button after you've selected the final forms for the student. You are returned to the Existing Students tab. Click the Register button. You will see a confirmation message indicating that your registration was successful. The forms you selected are now available in the Student Performance Data application as assessments, where test administrators will enter student results after administering performance tasks. Once you close the registration confirmation message, this registration will now appear under Registration Management. If this was the first registration created for the student, a Student Characteristics, or SCS, registration was also created automatically. An SCS registration is only created once and will always be associated with the test administrator who created the first registration for a student. Note, you must complete the Student Characteristics Survey in Student Performance Data for each student before you can enter the student's assessment results for any performance tasks. Test administrators can only cancel or modify a registration until an assessment has been started in student performance data. These processes are covered in the Modifying Registrations training. This concludes the training on registering a student for final forms. If you need further assistance with this process or with using any of the applications in the DRC Insight portal, please contact DRC's WAAIM Help Desk at waaimhelpdesk@datarecognitioncorp.com or 800-569-2667.